and then for in between there, anywhere in between. Otherwise, when you look out of the window, what you see is the weather. Daily is summarizing it, because if I ask you, oh, what's the daily weather? Oh, usually these days it rains in the morning up to 8. Then after the rain stops, the sun comes out and it is very hot. Now if you've been sleeping and you wake up at 11 or 12 and somebody told you it rained, sometimes you can't even believe the heat. Because again, we need to understand that weather is always changing. Because the sun is there, and then the temperatures go up, and then around 5 o'clock the sun is going down, the temperatures go down, stuff like that. So you cannot expect it to be, well, the bazoom we usually have it. In the summer, it is usually hot, 30 degrees. For 3 days, the temperature doesn't go, it is just like that. And for them, it's actually easy to forecast weather, because they will say 30 degrees for the next 5 days. Here, I checked my phone when I fell to sleep at night, and it was saying 7 degrees. And I'm like, how is my bed going to warm? 7 degrees. My body is used to 16 degrees. Kampala in the night is about 16, 17 degrees. You cover yourself nicely. I covered myself. The bed wasn't getting warm. I stayed up for 2 hours trying to find things to do in the bed. Nothing. I didn't have enough cover. You see? So I need another blanket. A natural one. So weather is supposed to be, and you'll notice that if I went to bed and it is 25 degrees or 26 degrees and I cover myself, I won't sleep. It will be too hot. So weather is going to be reported as temperature. What is the temperature now? If it's a daily, then we say what is the maximum temperature the day got, or what's the minimum temperature the day got. What did we have rainfall? Okay, how much was it? How long did it last for? And was it rain? Was it drizzle? Was it hailstone? You know, when we start using those terms, we're describing the weather. How much cloud cover? How much of the sky can we see? Okay, again, those have implications on the temperatures and other things. What is the relative humidity? How much moisture can you feel? Well, I don't know whether you feel it, but some other instruments people use. But if you went to the coast, especially where it's so humid, temperatures are usually very high, and or sometimes they could be the same temperatures like here, but because of the humidity, you feel it so hot, and that is, and then the speed of the wind and the direction. There are a few others that some people measure, but those are the key elements of weather that we should be interested in. In addition to those, there are some of those, these we expect to report, and we report on a daily basis. But there are also those elements that, suppose it is drought or tornado, all those very extreme events, they usually happen, sometimes lasting a day, sometimes lasting a few minutes. They come maybe once every 50 years or once every year. We expect them and we report them. Now, on the other side, climate is a long-term average. Again, within a place. So you say Fort Portal, the temperature of Fort Portal in November is usually goes up to maybe 28, and the lowest maybe 7 degrees. So that's an average. So, and you've taken those records for at least 30 years. So meaning, if in 1 year, the temperature is 31, don't say, no, this is outside. Well, the average doesn't mean, so the other one you reported is the average. So you could have that noise, you call it noise. Sometimes it is very high, sometimes it's very low. But that is going to be the average, a 30-year average. Meaning, if you found somebody who is 30 years and you ask them about the weather and the climate, you're asking them to tell you what they have experienced since they were babies, 10 years. I don't know whether we can remember nicely that, oh, in January it used to be very hot. So again, this one tells us that for us to be able to claim climate, to be able to claim that climate is changing and it is affecting us, we needed to have recorded it. You cannot say, no, I remember when I was a child, in November it used to rain. Bring the record. And then we look at it and say, oh, I think, yeah, he's right. November it used to rain, now it's no longer raining. So punch in the values and say, I think this is climate change. Because sometimes what we say is climate change is not. It is other information. One of the examples quoted is the levels of water Victoria going down. About five years ago, we didn't have enough power, and again it was because at the same, we had the dam, the Owen Falls, two power stations, all of them taking water, and the water levels went down. So the turbines didn't have water. So again, the climate will be described as either the average temperature, and again there you have either daily, season. Of course daily would be meaningless because this is daily over a month, over a 30-year period. So you cannot say it's 1st January, it is always raining. When we're celebrating New Year's Day, it is raining. No, it can't happen because it rains whenever it wants. So, but for rainfall, we usually describe the season, all the months of the year, and say, no, January, the rainfall is less. February is nearly no rainfall. And then we say, oh, March, April, the rain increases. November, there's rain, stuff like that. Then we also talk about the type, frequency, and duration and intensity of these events. We expect a dry season. People don't usually talk about a dry season. We expect a dry season like in January, February. I'm sure banana growers know that dry season is very good. That's when a lot of matoke ripens. But also if I grew my maize, I want it to dry so I can be able to process the maize, make flour and stuff. So if it does not come, it's also a problem. Okay? So there are also those storms, floods, and those again we describe within climate. So then the question is, what is the relationship between these two? Weather and climate. Like I mentioned, weather is what you see, what you're experiencing now, or what you experienced yesterday at this time. Meaning it is going to change. Within minutes, within hours, within days, it changes. Now, climate, because with climate we understand or we try to describe some kind of stability. And say, no, every time I go to bed, or in the night, the temperatures go down to 10 degrees. So that is what we expect over all that time.